We're nearly halfway through 2025, and it has honestly been a blur. There have been several stellar additions to the gaming world's vast library of excellent titles, while some others have maybe not been as great as they could have been. As always, the gaming community has received some incredible experiences from the stables of many talented developers. Without further ado, let's take a look at some of the best games that 2025 has brought to the table. 20. Steel Seed. A dystopian world full of killer robots, a protagonist who blurs the line between human and machine, a robot sidekick who happens to be her father and the cause of the aforementioned dystopian nightmare. What could go wrong? Italian developer Storm in a Teacup seemingly asked themselves the same question when they created this stealth action title for the PS5, Xbox and PC, which seamlessly blends a quirky story with a gameplay loop that quickly captures your attention as you hop, skip and jump from one location to another. Steel Seed is one of those titles that should not work, but just does, bringing you into its fold with wit and charm while the action never fully lets up over its relatively short 12-hour campaign. It's perfect for players who prefer their gaming thrills in short doses, while others will still like its stealth mechanics and more than a few well-designed platforming sequences. 19. The Altars. 11-Bit Studios has created one of this year's most unique experiences with The Altars. This game puts you in control of Jan Dolsky, a builder working for Ally Corp, whose mission quickly leads to a frankly mind-boggling tale of alternate realities and corporate greed. With his survival literally at stake as he pilots a mining ship, Jan soon finds he is able to create alternate versions of himself, using his own life story to manipulate each version's personality and skill sets to match the task at hand. It's a survival game like no other, and its story and gameplay bring a lot of engaging mechanics to the table. And with multiple endings being at your disposal, this is a game that could keep you occupied for many hours as you try and discover exactly what could happen if you were to make a different choice at any given moment. It's available to play on current-gen systems and is sure to be an experience like no other for those who try it out. 18. Sniper Elite Resistance. Rebellion Development's latest entry in his very popular Sniper Elite franchise brings a lot of cool things to the table. For starters, it finally gives Harry Hawker his own standalone title, taking the franchise back to 1944 for a story that runs parallel to Sniper Elite 5, the previous mainline entry in the franchise. But that's not all. With customizable weapons, a very open-ended mission design, an X-ray system that's reminiscent of Mortal Kombat titles, and a well-fleshed-out multiplayer mode, this game is a dream come true for players who like to methodically decimate any opposition from the shadows. It's quite rewarding to patiently craft an approach to your target, eavesdropping on NPCs while quietly dealing with any guards along the way. Sniper Elite Resistance is an experience that mixes thrills and nail-biting tension very well on the PS4, PS5, PC, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X and S. 17. Ninja Gaiden 2 Black. Blending the best of the original game and its Sigma 2 version, Ninja Gaiden 2 Black is a visually stunning return to prominence for one of Team Ninja's best titles over the years. Ryu Hayabusa makes his presence felt on current-gen systems, just as he did in the past, while the addition of new story chapters have been well received by players. All of the original game's combat systems are in place, including the ability to dismember enemies in order to strategically eliminate them from the battlefield. Despite minor technical issues, this Unreal Engine 5-powered remake is a worthy addition to Team Ninja's growing library of titles, and is a must-try for those of you who may have missed out on the original game's over-the-top mix of style and substance with the added firepower of current-gen hardware. 16. Dynasty Warriors Origins. The latest addition to Omega Force's Dynasty Warriors franchise has been well received by players and critics alike. Based on the Chinese novel Romance of the Three Kingdoms, this hack-and-slash bonanza eschews the franchise's penchant for controlling key historical figures, introducing a new character who gets to interact with them instead. When mixed with a combat system that's an absolute power fantasy, the result is a game that's not just entertaining on the field, but off of it as well. Poignant moments with important characters blend seamlessly with upgrade systems that allow you to make good use of the rewards you receive for your troubles, making Origins an excellent single-player experience for your platform of choice. 15. Lies of P Overture. The much-awaited expansion to 2023's Pinocchio-based Soulslike has been receiving a lot of praise for its new environments, excellent story, new weapons, and the lore it brings to Krat's dangerous and often melancholy world. NeoWiz has been clever in its choices, allowing players to further flesh out how P, or Carlo depending on who you ask, came to end up without his memories, with a very rewarding trip to a version of Krat that was yet to suffer the effects of the puppet frenzy. Getting to meet characters like the legendary Stalker and the original Alidoro has been a delight for players who wanted to know more about their murky origins, while the new weapons and Legion arms are seeing many players take interesting approaches to a slew of memorable and challenging new bosses. Overture is an excellent addition to the original world that NeoWiz brought to life, and is a treat for Souls-like fans who enjoyed its excellent combat loop. 14. Split Fiction. Hazelight Studios' successful follow-up to It Takes Two was an absolute treat for fans of the studio's unique co-op, multiplayer-only style. However, aside from its unique mechanics that varied across each of its levels, Split Fiction's main protagonists were among its biggest draws. As two writers trying to protect their intellectual property from the greed of a corporate antagonist looking to capitalize off their work, Mio and Zoe brought surprisingly deep backstories to the game's narrative, while their distinct personalities made them relatable and charming in equal measures. Add that to a gameplay loop designed to keep them on their toes, and it's easy to see how Split Fiction achieved phenomenal success in a year that has been crowded with several outstanding games. It also helped that Hazelight included references to several popular entertainment franchises, while presenting them through the lens of a unique blend of sci-fi and fantasy in a way that made sense on both narrative and gameplay fronts. Split Fiction is a game that could be the perfect way to enjoy a weekend with a friend, and is sure to bring back fond memories of your favorite franchises over the years. 13. Atomfall. Rebellion's clearly been having a great year, with the second entry on this list being Atomfall, a game that brought humor and heart to the action survival genre. Playing as the survivor of a radioactive accident that left much of the British countryside in shambles, the game quickly dives into a world filled with danger that's offset by excellent British humor. This contrast works well to elevate the experience in Atomfall above others in the genre, combining familiar mechanics with innovative additions and a narrative that keeps its players on their toes. Rebellion's unique way of wearing its inspirations for the game on its sleeve shine through, and its take on survival action is all the better for it. Atomfall is among the most unique experiences that you can get your hands on in 2025, and is well worth the effort of getting to grips with its unique mechanics and simplified gameplay loop that works well to allow players to dive deep into its story. 12. Monster Hunter Wilds. The latest addition to the Monster Hunter franchise is an excellent action RPG that builds on its predecessor in meaningful ways, while bringing loads of new content to the table. With its unique visual style, massive open worlds, incredible boss designs, and a crafting system that allows for a lot of flexibility, Monster Hunter Wilds is sure to take up many hours of your time and then some. What's more, it's quite easy to dive in with up to 3 other players and take on its threats as a coordinated unit, an experience that is as rewarding as it is challenging. If you're in the market for a game that tests your limits while also being a lot of fun to engage with, look no further than this amazing sequel to an already incredible game. 11. Elden Ring Night Rain. From Software strikes yet again, taking its flagship title and stripping it down to its base elements in a new genre. While the lands between and their immensely rewarding locations may be missed by a few devoted fans, Limveld and the Nightfarers bring a frenetic energy and unique playstyles to the table in an experience that can test the limits of its players' skills. With an RNG-based loot system that makes each expedition you undertake quite unpredictable, and a rogues gallery that brings the best of the Dark Souls franchise back to the battlefield, Night Rain is sure to bring chills and thrills to a gameplay loop that has all of the trademark difficulty that the studio is known for. And with FromSoft bringing even harder variants of the Night Lords to the game in future updates, Night Rain could be the roguelike that takes the genre to new heights, just as the studio intended. 10. Karma: The Dark World. Daniel McGovern's adventures in this psychological thriller may not seem like an engaging experience on the surface, but that's just what Pollard Studios intended with its take on an alternate reality in which Germany is governed by a tyrannical corporation hell-bent on total control of its populace. Examining the thoughts and memories of a criminal as a dutiful officer who remains loyal to his government sets the stage for an examination of complex ideological themes, while Daniel's personal struggle keeps the narrative grounded even as his reality crumbles to dust before his very eyes. It's rare for a game that has no combat system to be this engaging, with Karma's intense narrative and immersive visuals playing their part in ensuring that this experience continues to haunt you long after you roll the credits on its main campaign. Its audio design is another highlight, working well with its visuals to present a game that is sure to find its place among the best games of 2025. 9. Ender Magnolia: Bloom in the Mist. This side-scrolling adventure brings a lot of the same charm that was on display in its predecessor to the table, while taking the mechanics that it established to new heights. A larger world, deeper customization, and more story beats and lore are all welcome additions to the solid foundations that AdGlobe and Livewire established in Ender Lilies. Lilac's time in the Land of Fumes brings her into contact with a supporting cast that is both well-written and well-voiced, a combination that brings emotional heft to an adventure that makes Magnolia a worthy addition to the genre's illustrious ranks in more ways than one. It helps that the game is available to play on both current-gen and previous-gen systems, making it an accessible and fun option for a wider gamut of players. 8. The First Berserker Kazan. Neopol's take on the Souls-like formula blends an adrenaline-fueled gameplay loop with the lore of the Dungeon and Fighter series to great effect. Kazan's adventure is engaging and exciting from the get-go, and only gets more exciting as the campaign continues, while his opponents push him to his limits and beyond as he encounters them. While the trope of revenge against betrayal has been done before, Kazan takes things up a notch with its distinctive cel-shaded visual style and a combat system that embodies the rage of its protagonist in every attack and desperate attempt to fend off enemy attacks. It's a potent combination that works very well to make the first Berserker Kazan achieve what it sets out to do with both style and substance. With a selection of weapons that cater to a wide range of playstyles and a roster of bosses that require those weapons to be wielded with finesse, this is a game that is sure to be remembered even beyond 2025. 7. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is an absolute treat for fans of the genre, with the game continuing the original story even as it adds excellent new areas, characters, and mechanics to the franchise. Henry's adventures are filled with quirky conversations, hilarious banter, and a whole lot of secrets and mysteries to uncover, even as he navigates a complex political landscape full of intrigue and narrative twists. It's a solid game that is an absolute treat for action RPG fans, and is one that has the potential to attract even those who may not necessarily enjoy the genre's trappings. With additional content on the way, this is a game that is certainly worth your attention. 6. Assassin's Creed Shadows. Shadow's take on feudal Japan is sure to please fans of the genre who clamored for a title set in that time period for many years prior to its release. Naoe and Yasuke work as interesting additions to the Assassin's ranks, while Japan's winding roads, its villages and castles allow the game to flex its creative chops with aplomb. A dynamic weather system and the improved Anvil engine allow for excellent alterations to the franchise's stealth mechanics and RPG mechanics, while many of the franchise's best features in past titles are incorporated into the core gameplay loop quite efficiently. Shadows is the definitive Assassin's Creed experience, and has continued to bring engaging new content to Japan's shores ahead of the game's first DLC expansion, set to release later this year. Just try not to get lost in Japan's dense forests while you uncover its mysteries. 5. Doom: The Dark Ages. id Software's Doom: The Dark Ages revamps its combat in one fell stroke. Giving the Slayer access to a range of melee weapons has allowed Dark Ages to bring a layer of strategy to the table, moving the game away from the frenetic pace it's usually associated with. Like its protagonist, Doom: The Dark Ages is an experience that is firmly grounded and laser-focused on what it aims to achieve, despite many feeling that perhaps it played things a little too safe. 4. The Elder Scrolls IV Oblivion Remastered. Bethesda took the gaming community by storm when it shadow-launched a complete current-gen remake of one of its most beloved titles. Bringing the improved visuals of the Unreal Engine 5 framework, ray tracing, improved NPC AI, redesigned controls and UI, and all of the original game's content to one single title was a move that earned the studio a lot of goodwill from long-standing fans of the Elder Scrolls franchise. Returning to Cyrodiil as the hero of Kvatch was a heady mix of nostalgia and modern gaming's best features, elevating the original experience and presenting it to a new generation of players who may have found the original game a tad too unpolished and unwieldy than they would like. Oblivion Remastered is sure to continue being among 2025's best games, and is a title that any gamer must enjoy at least once. 3. Clair Obscur Expedition. Sandfall Interactive's gaming debut could not have been any better, as Clair Obscur Expedition brings an experience that has taken the gaming world by storm. With incredibly designed visuals, a score that we continue to enjoy long after we finish the game, and a cast that absolutely sells the material they are given, this is a game that you simply cannot miss. Its story balances poignant moments between its protagonists against a backdrop that blends complex moral quandaries with style. Its enemies hit hard and fast, while its heroes bring versatile skill sets built to synergize with each other, allowing players to get very creative in their approach. Like anyone else who has played it, we can't stop recommending this masterpiece to anyone who asks. 2. Mario Kart World. For anyone who has got their hands on a shiny new Nintendo Switch 2, Mario Kart World is sure to be a title that they can dive into on the go, or from the comfort of their couch. Its accessible gameplay loop is bolstered by a massive roster of playable characters, while the addition of an open-world design, a free run mode, boat racing, off-roading, and other features are sure to keep its players on their toes. Nintendo clearly made the most of its long years with the game, crafting an experience that's not only fun, but very rewarding to players who engage with its many systems, and perhaps take part in its massive world-spanning races. 1. Death Stranding 2 on the Beach. Hideo Kojima has managed to build on the sprawling, often vague narrative he established in the original Death Stranding, with On the Beach continuing the story of Sam Porter in the wake of his decision to leave the Bridges network behind in favor of raising Lou in relative peace and quiet. While things don't go exactly to plan for the protagonist, they clearly have for Kojima's vision of what a sequel would entail. On the Beach blends awe-inspiring landscapes with its prequel's core gameplay loop in a manner that makes sense for its story and the new additions it brings to the table. This is a game that many fans of the original title are sure to dive into as soon as it hits the shelves, while those who may have been on the fence about the previous game might just find it compelling enough to finally try and make sense of Kojima's unique style of storytelling. So, what are your thoughts on this? Go ahead and share them in the comments below. And if you like this video, please subscribe to the channel and enable all notifications by clicking the bell icon to get new video updates. We upload every day and would really appreciate your support. Thanks for watching.